What's up, everybody? My cable came early. I'm back. We are using the Fender in this one. So we're going to go over a couple things today. This is a sound test as well as a test for the cable and just to get an overall sound thing since I'm back. And I got the EVH mic'd up today. So good things. Now, I did notice something over the last couple days with live performances from great guitar players like Andy Woods, Nathan Corda from True Fire, who's an incredible soloist and everything. And so is Andy Woods. But there's something that happens when they play live. I watched Andy Woods with Bonamassa, and I watched Nathan playing live, and their playing is not that good. And what I mean by not that good compared to their channel playing. You see, there's a big difference in playing live with one take and many, many edited versions, as well as no outside influences as far as bass players playing odd notes. And here's what I'll demonstrate. You have a country scale. So we'll go with G major, 1, 2, 3. You flat the third, and it makes a minor. But they like to play all of them. That's called the country scale. And if you had the flat 5, you get a lot of other notes in there, which is cool. But the problem is, if the guy's doing a bass line and he's going, and you happen to hit one of these notes, so here I get the flat 5, and I get the flat 3. So if I'm chicken picking, doing some kind of country lick, like, let's see. It will make dissonant sounds together. So here's what I'm going to explain that you're never ever going to see explained. Not this part. If I play a G major, that goes with that chord. Some country licks and blues licks have to move with the chord. So if I take that lick and I move it to the A position, it's not going to sound good over. No. Yes, move it to B. Some licks, especially these, that'll sound good over a B. So when you're doing like these, those pedal steel kind of licks, you have to go and play those with specific chords. Now if you're just doing quick double stop, and you throw a little bend in there quick, not so much. There's the resolve that they always do. So you see how those resolves work with those licks. So if you're doing like the that bend. Those kind of pedal tone kind of licks based off a bend. Third string, first. Those have to follow a chord. So it's best over an A chord, whether it's A minor, A major, depending on the notes you pick. Now I'm going to show you, this is the part that you're never, ever going to see. And I'm going to talk about a Tom Bukovac video, which was pretty good on how to play slide in less than 5 minutes, but was also misleading, and he left out a lot of important detailed information on how to play slide in less than 5 minutes. And one of the things he says in there is, I don't know why slide doesn't sound good on tellies. He says, I'm not an expert in that. But I am, and I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to explain why he chose the Nobles pedal. I'm going to explain a lot of stuff that he doesn't explain to show you my in-depth view of gear and how I know this stuff over a session guy. And we're going to get into that. So if I'm playing stuff... Now this is all amp right now. So if I add the tube screamer, you hear it gets mid-rangey. There's the gate, we'll take that off. Here's the... So there you go, there's nothing on there. Now there's two ways that I can EQ an amp too. On overdrive with low gain, where I can take the gain off, crank the channel volume, and then do the volume here. Or I go back and I turn this on, the overdrive, lower the gain, and then I turn the channel volume up. Now this goes back into what Tom said about he doesn't know why tellies don't sound as good. Now we'll get into that, but you just saw I EQ'd an amp. Not all guitars will sound the same with EQ pedals. Not all pickups will sound the same because you got singles, you got half, you got split. So even when you're using tap coil and split coil, those are two different. The split coil and tap coil functions do not operate the same. One splits it completely and the other splits it a little bit. So we have to understand how gear works as a musician. And if you don't, I hate to tell you, you don't know your craft. And it's a very important part of your craft is knowing your gear. So when I hear a session guy say, I don't know why it doesn't sound so good on a telly, and I can explain to you why, I don't know what to tell you. So here's another thing, and we're going to get into it because it's going to tie into this lesson as well. And you're going to be like, holy crap. So that's decent sound. That's in the head only. And I can take the noise gate off, get a little more. You can get great sounds with a metal head for blues and jazz and country stuff. So it's a fallacy. Just because guys preach Fenders and this and that, that is a Fender. Again, to mislabel stuff. So here's what I want you guys to do when you're playing in keys. And let me explain before we get into this. How I got into this is when I was recording a lot of different genres of music, from country, pop, dance, jazz, or contemporary stuff. I noticed something about keys and scales. They don't all work, even though they should, according to theory. So what I would do is I said, well, here's a G chord. Let's take a pivot note, the G, played against an A, which is the second. No, the third. Oh, that sounds good. The fourth. That sounds good. The fifth. Sounds good. The sixth. The seventh. And the octave. And then go, well, what about frequency? So let's move that up to here. And I found that the lower E and the higher E sound really good together. You're playing notes off of, that's when, like here, and then I played the A here. It sounded good, but not here. So frequency and pitch has a lot to do with corresponding notes together. Just because an A is an A doesn't mean it's going to sound good. Open A. That sounds a lot better now, doesn't it? So playing is for the sake of theory. Sometimes it doesn't work. And I started noticing frequency pitches and overlaying and stuff because I started layering a lot of tracks. I was like, why is that got a dissonant sound to it? It just doesn't sound right. So I started going through chords. And then while I was doing that, I was like, and I'm like playing triads out of my scale. And I notice I can write songs like that as well, and it's a safe bet. Triads out of one position. Interesting concept, Chris. Now, going back into what Tom was saying that he doesn't explain. Let me show you guys. This is an old slide. You can see it's been, what do you call it, pantined. But if you look, it's also tapered. So towards the top of my finger, it's smaller. It's tapered. You can see it. Now, what else about this slide do you guys notice? Well, how about the thickness? So the thinner slide may sound a little brighter than the thicker slide. Now I have a thick glass slide. Now some of the stuff he was saying about playing chords. He's correct. Not as bright. Why do I got so many slides? Because it's like sets of strings. You have round, you have nickel, different strings are going to act different to a different slide. See, he's not smart enough to tell you guys that. This is very thick and very heavy. Warmer than all of them, and it's metal. How is that possible? Because of the weight and the thickness. Hence, while a Nobles pedal in the Nashville world became famous for what reason? And I'm sure like Deer Creek Audio and those guys in Tennis Nuts will know. Because it had a lot of bass in it, because it was transparent. So when you're using a single coil, it added the losing amount of bass. But on newer amps, you don't need that today. Why? You have a resonance switch and a bass control that'll add a shitload of bass. That's a single. That's a lot of bass. And I'm sure you guys can hear that if you're listening through a really good system. So why doesn't a Tele sound good? Because you didn't re-EQ your fucking amp. You're a fucking twit. And no offense to Tom, because the video was good. But when you say stuff, it's like, oh, I don't know why. String gauge, string composition, pickup windings, which Tele did you use? Was it a GN? Oh, let's take the GNL. Let's see, can we put this somewhere it don't fall? I was going to actually do another trade with that guitar, but I don't think so. So let's put this here, which is dangerous, because that can fall. So let's take a Tele. He said they don't sound good, right? So let's re-EQ it. We'll add the lows. Let's bring the resonance up. Bring the presence down. Sounds great. That one didn't sound bad. That didn't sound bad. Sounds the best. You see what I mean? These are why some people on here that do work and get lucky shouldn't be fucking teaching. My opinion. But hey, everybody gets fooled by these people. But now you could go watch his 5-minute slide video and go, Chris is 100% right. His telly sounds fine. Why? I rolled the bass back up. And look, I'm on my bridge. When you re-EQ, why do people carry 2 overdrives on a pedal board? So they add extra gain for the pickups that aren't going to do what they want. Now, if I don't want all that low, I can roll all my resonance off. Get more of my rock. But let me ask you, is your lead sound when you're doing slide the same exact sound as your rhythm? Absolutely not. You should re-EQ it. And if you got a telly that's a lot of mids, then you roll the mids off if that's not what you want. But to say that a telly doesn't sound good in his experience is because he doesn't have enough fucking experience. Great video, Tom, but you left out a lot of crucial information. Now, I just showed you how fucking stupid you sound. And this is nothing against Tom. This is the same shit about a session player who has 2,000 credits, and let's say they're all celebrities. His 5-minute slide video just made him foolish, and he did it to himself. Because I can tell you why things sound like they do. Now here's the other part. Now remember how we were doing this with scales? Right? Well, you're going to have to take your slide, and he didn't say this. So if I play an open E, I do what I did with the scale with open strings. Open A. I find where my target tones are with all my open strings that are in my key, so that I know if I hit an F sharp, and that chord's playing. Let's see if we could do it this way. Like a track. F sharp right there. So it's the chord position. So he doesn't explain a lot like this, and you can't just play slide in 5 minutes. It's impossible for you to go, yeah, I'm playing slide. But is that going to sound good over an A or a B? No. You have to learn scales like you do on slide as opposed to scale. You're going to learn frequencies from fret to fret. Now you have the top side of the fret to the bottom side of the fret. Now let's use a glass slide right here. So top side. you'll see a lot of guys hit these chords, maybe together. And make a chord while they're playing slide. However you're going to use the slide is up to you, but you have to know where your target tones are. I see people use that. Well, where's my tone? Slide don't just sound good. Where's... So you got to find those notes. And then you got the thing, heavier slide, bouncing it off the string. So the heavier you slide and you're smacking it down on the string to get that kind of sound, you don't want a thick, heavy slide. You want a thinner slide that you can control with your finger more, so that you're not getting a massive hit. So you might even want a smaller slide, a ring slide that goes like a ring. It's very thin, and it goes around here, so you can use it like a ring and just slide up while you're playing. There's all kinds of slides, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. Now, does it actually, if I'm playing slide, just EQ'd like I normally play, does it sound bad? Absolutely not. Again, and why do people like Andy Woods and Nathan Cody sound not as good live? Because it's not an edited video. So as good as they are in the studio, you don't know how many takes they were doing. That's why I don't like to edit my video. I show you the mistakes and I show you if I can play live on the spot. That's a huge difference. So if you watch me and then you go watch somebody who's got all these fancy edited videos, and then they go and you watch him play with Bonamassa and he's not ripping the way he normally does, or it doesn't sound the same, he's also got outside influence. So you got a drummer with timing. His fills may throw somebody off, you know, where he's doing a straightforward lick. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to play that kind of speed with that tempo. See, a lot of people don't even talk about scales. So if you hear boom, that, boom, boom, that, boom, that, boom, boom, that, boom, that, boom, boom, that, boom. So you have syncopation and you have rhythm with whatever you're playing here, but you also have that, boom, boom, that, boom, that, boom, boom, that. Even speedy fills and runs have a tempo to them. You can't just go. It doesn't work. That should be timed with a drum roll. It should be timed with, you know. So if you become a better rhythm player, you will become a better lead player, because then you're more aware of timing. Just like if you played slide a lot, you would have said what I just told you guys. You would have said there's different kinds of slides. Slides sound good on everything. You just have to like you got a big giant pedal board, Tommy. Why wouldn't you EQ your pedal so it sounds exactly good? It's like saying you can't play shred on this. It's a telly. It's made for blues in Nashville. Bullshit. And then I could go right back to this. So there's all kinds of sounds that can be re-EQ'd. Find your pitches and master position by position. And this is why I teach by position out of key. Because if you're in A, now if you watch me do what I just did, you'll see that those were timed. Now that's off time. It may work depending on how you land on the note. So I hope this helps a lot of people out. Again, I like to weed the bullshitters out. The bullshitters. Now, Tom is a good guitar player, but again, it shows his lack of knowledge with an instrument. Now, just because you can play Nashville sessions doesn't mean you're that fucking smart on a guitar. It means you're in the right place at the right time. Kind of like Dan Huff. If Dan Huff's father wasn't who he was, Dan Huff would have never existed in the musical world. It's who you know and who you... It's a fact. Look at Miley Cyrus from Billy Ray Cyrus. Look at Will Smith and Jade Smith and all the family in there, and Beyonce and her daughters and doing Disney voiceovers. It's who you know, man. So there you go. A little video on some musical knowledge, even dealing with something that I don't even do a lot. I do play slide, but I don't do a lot of country Nashville guys when I write, but I do like to use it to layer, even in pop songs, believe it or not. I'll use a slide in pop. You're like, really? Well, yeah, there's lots of songs that have slide in it, that, you know, or pop rock songs or pop songs or even a dance song. You can use it as an effect with an arpeggiator. You put your arpeggiator on your guitar and then slide that up, and it does some kind of weird, cool trick with a lot of delay. There's all kinds of things that I dabble in sound. And this is where my knowledge came to be from the guitar, in knowing that a key isn't just a key. And I've been preaching this for a long time. All notes in a key don't sound good together based on the chords and the tones you hit. They have to coincide. Now, like I just showed you here, too. E, G, with E, is dissonant. But then you play it with the G and the A here, better. Frequency plays a part in that as well. So I hope this gives you guys and you're never ever going to hear anybody talk about this, because most of these guys are full of shit. They've never toured. They've never recorded in big studios. They never sat around and actually legitimately analyze music. Even Rick Beato, as smart as he is, have you ever heard him talk about this shit? About note changes and frequencies? How come the G and the A sound good here, but not here? Because he don't know either. So this just goes to show you, buyer beware. And that whole Rick Beato, for everybody that wants to come on here and bash me, listen, Rick did it to himself. Labels have been contacted. Let's see what happens. Let's see where this goes. I'm very interested. Peace out and have a great weekend.